Winnie the Pooh Blood and Honey 3 has officially wrapped up filming, meaning we're one step closer away to an official release date. And as the crew heads into post-production, I was curious to see if there were any more interesting updates I might have missed. And boy did I find a goldmine of information for you guys. We got all sorts of things to talk about, from new lore to an all-new villain introduced. And it seems like you guys are still hungry for more Pooh content, so I guess that means it's time to milk this movie once more. So without further ado, here is Winnie the Pooh Blood and Honey 3 update number 4263. I don't know, I've lost count. Also, be sure to subscribe to the channel and like this video, and if you do all of that, then you are officially groovy. And real quick, I just wanted to say a massive thank you to everyone who helped this channel reach 2,000 subscribers recently. That's awesome. Anyway, so the other day I came across an interview on YouTube with Richard Stanley. If you don't know who that is, he's the writer of Winnie the Pooh Blood and Honey 3, as well as the ringmaster of Woozle's Circus, which I guess we should go ahead and talk about that real quick. Indeed, Winnie the Pooh Blood and Honey 3 is introducing a new character to the franchise, and his name is I'm just kidding. His name is Balthazar von Woozle, which means that the Woozles are now officially canon in this franchise. And Balthazar in particular is a 100-year-old Woozle who is in charge of Woozle's Circus, which means that we can confirm that Woozle is in fact the surname of one of the characters, meaning this logo we looked at in one of my last Pooniverse videos is in fact grammatically incorrect. I knew it. And you're like, okay, why do you care so much about that? Hey, I'm a commentary channel, I like to nitpick, alright? Also, I find it very fascinating that they got a guy like Richard Stanley to play a primary antagonist in this movie. And yes, he is going to be a villain in this movie from what I've seen. I'm not too familiar with his acting work, but he actually has a decently interesting lineup of directorial work. In fact, this is not the first time he's worked on a horror movie with human-animal hybrids, as he was the director of the 90s cult classic The Island of Dr. Moreau, which is just so funny to me the more I think about it. This guy has worked with the likes of Marlon f***ing Brando, Nicolas Cage, and Reese Frake Waterfield. How many people can have that listed on their resume? Anyways, now we can officially confirm who holds the crossbreeds captive in a circus. But guess what? They're not the only notable names of Woozle's Circus, because he's not just going after Winnie the Pooh, he's going after everyone.
So I'm also the principal villain. I am Balthazar von Woozle, the proprietor and owner of Woozle's Circus and Toon Carnival, a traveling show that imprisons and enslaves public domain IP and beloved childhood characters and forces them to work for their honey.
Yeah, you heard that right. He's going after all the public domain characters. Pinocchio, Bambi, maybe even characters that the franchise hasn't tackled like Robin Hood or even Mickey Mouse. But another big turning point in the story is that Winnie the Pooh, Tigger, and Rabbit are not going to be the villains. Something I could tell Richard Stanley did when it came to writing the script for this movie is that he did a lot of deep research on Winnie the Pooh lore, primarily reading the original source material from A.A. Milne. In that original book, Pooh and Piglet are going after the mysterious Woozles, and as they continue going around in circles, they start to notice more footprints in the snow, implying that there might be Woozles going after them, and so they start to get more worried, only to learn that it's actually just their footprints from walking in the same area multiple times. Although we don't actually see the Woozles in that original story, we know that the characters are afraid of them, so introducing one into the Blood and Honey franchise is going to make the characters feel even more vulnerable, which I do think will be interesting to see. And I do think they can definitely pull this kind of thing off. We've seen bad guys turn good in many other movies before, one of the most notable examples being the T-800 from Terminator 2.
Get down.
Another major addition we're gonna see is Winnie the Pooh's backstory be expanded even further. Stanley also teased that we're gonna see how Pooh transformed from a silly old bear to a rampaging psychotic monster that he was in the last two movies. Now I'm very curious as to how they're gonna pull that off because of a big twist revealed at the end of Blood and Honey 2. Quick spoilers if you haven't seen that movie, but it was revealed that Winnie the Pooh is actually Christopher Robin's twin brother Billy. He was kidnapped at a young age age and was turned into an animal-human hybrid by being injected with animal genes from an evil scientist. This allowed him to develop healing factors like he's f***ing Deadpool or something, and despite being killed by the mad scientist, he managed to resurrect himself and befriend Christopher Robin. But what I think Stanley is implying is that Pooh has always been a normal bear, and he was manipulated by someone to turn evil. So this leads me to two possible scenarios. One, the evil scientist from part 2 killed an ordinary regular bear and injected its genes into young Billy, and they're going to expand upon that backstory in part 3. Or two, it could be a complete reverse of that, and the versions of Winnie the Pooh and the other crossbreeds in this movie are revealed to be normal animals that were infused with human genes. Now, granted, that would probably retcon the whole idea that Christopher's brother is Winnie the Pooh, but that doesn't make it completely out of reach. Remember when the 2018 Halloween retconned the idea that Laurie and Michael were siblings?
Wasn't it her brother who, like, cold-blooded mutilated all those teenagers?
No. That's just a bit that some people made up to make him feel better, I think.
And let's not forget, this is the first film in the franchise that Richard Stanley is writing the script for. So they could make some major changes with a new vision in mind, given that it's a different writer from the other two. So while it is definitely possible that they could do it for this movie, it's probably unlikely given that it seems way too soon to do something like this. So my money's on the first idea. So one more thing I want to talk about before we wrap this video up is that Richard Stanley claimed that he's going to play the principal villain of the movie.
That they also asked me to play the big bad. So I'm also the principal villain. I am Balthazar von Woozle.
Which, when you hear that, you think, oh, he's going to be the big bad of the movie. Well, according to the official Blood and Honey Twitter page, apparently he's not the big bad. But we also know, or at least we think we know, that Balthazar von Woozle is going to be more evil than the crossbreeds. But if he's not the main villain of the story, then who is? Well, we already talked about the Woozles, but you know who we haven't discussed yet? The Heffalumps, the counterpart to the Woozles. It was confirmed that the Heffalumps will be appearing in part 3 alongside the Woozles, but we still don't exactly have any confirmation yet as to what their roles are going to be in the movie. The only stuff we know about this franchise regarding the Heffalumps is from the end credits of Blood and Honey 2, which reveals the first look at Heffalumps in the franchise. These ginormous elephant sumo wrestling looking motherfuckers. But after doing a little bit of research, I discovered that it was originally planned for the big massive Heffalump to actually be the evil scientist from part 2, completely resurrected after being apparently shot in the face. We don't know yet if they're planning to move forward with this, but I'd be totally down if they do because that's actually a really smart idea. We know that the mad scientist, who I'm just now realizing I never said what his actual name is, his name is Dr. Gallup, by the way, but we know that he's the guy responsible for creating the crossbreeds, which that alone makes him a candidate for being the most evil character in the franchise. And it'll also give the opportunity to make the crossbreeds feel even more misunderstood. So to revive him as a Heffalump would not only be a hilarious way to introduce the Heffalumps into the lore, but it would make sense given this evil mad scientist who took these kids' lives away and turned them into animal monsters would now resemble a creature that terrified the characters in the original source material it was based off of. Honestly, that's some pretty damn clever writing there, so fingers crossed that they move forward with it. If they end up doing a bait and switch and retcon that, I'm gonna be massively disappointed. But I'm gonna keep my hopes up, so don't let me down, Twisted Childhood Universe. Anyways, I think I'm all caught up now. Hopefully. So with that being said, what are your guys' thoughts on Balthazar von Woozle? And do you think they're gonna introduce Heffalumps into the movie finally now that we know that Woozles are officially part of the story? Let me know in the comments down below. Anyways, that's all I got for you guys today. See ya.